Welcome to Chisholm Trail 61. Today we're going to be doing another meal in a jar canning video. I tell you, I just love this book right here, this Amish canning book. Today we're going to be doing recipe on page 183, the chili con carne. And try to get it up there where y'all can see it, maybe the chili con carne. And we're going to be going step by step through it. What I have here, I got about 5 pounds of ground beef. Now the recipe calls to between 4 and 5 pounds, but I'm closer on the 5 end than the 4 end. So I got about 5 pounds of ground beef I'm putting in there. I just love to can this time of the year. It's January, and cold weather outside. This is my favorite time of the year because you don't heat the house up too much. It just makes everything just right. I got 1.5 cups of bell pepper here that I've chopped up, putting that in. I got 2 cups of onions diced up there that I'm putting in. And what we're going to do, we're going to put this over on the burner there on the stove, and we're going to brown the ground beef and let them bell peppers and onions sort of saute a little bit in there, and we're going to drain it. And then when we get it browned and drained, then we'll bring you back and show you the next step. Okay, we got our ground beef and our peppers and onions browned up there. And I'll show you down in there. You can see we got it drained. We drained it good. So we got 5 pounds of, 4 to 5 pounds, what the recipe calls. I got about 5 of ground beef. We got 2 cups of chopped onions, and we got 1.5 cups of chopped bell peppers. And to that, we're going to add 4.5 cups of pinto beans. Now, we soaked our pinto beans overnight last night, and then we put them on, drained them, put fresh water in them, and we boiled them for 30 minutes this morning. And so now we're going to add them. That's 4.5 cups of pinto beans. We're going to add, we got 4 teaspoons of kosher salt because we're going to be canning this, so we don't want to use any iodized salt, so we're going to use kosher salt. So it's 4 teaspoons. Never want to use iodized salt when you're canning. All right. And then we need 5 teaspoons of chili powder. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now the recipe calls 4 to 6, but I found that 5 works out much better. And then I need 1.5 teaspoons of black pepper, just a regular black pepper. Just 1.5 teaspoons. So let's see, can we measure out 1.5 teaspoons here? Ain't wanting to cooperate real well, is it? Probably spilling about as much as I'm getting in there, but that's okay. There's 1 teaspoon. And we're going to call that 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. Now to that, we're going to add, it calls for 3 quarts of crushed or whole canned tomatoes. I'm using 1.5 quarts of crushed and 1.5 quarts of stewed because I don't really care for the whole tomatoes in my chili. So I'm going to do 1.5 quarts of crushed and 1.5 quarts of stewed. We're going to add that in here. And that gives us 3 quarts total of tomatoes. And what we want to do, we want to just stir that up real good. Stir that up good. And we're going to put this back on the burner, back on the stove over there. And we're going to bring it up to a boil. We're going to simmer it for 5 minutes. And at that point, after that, we'll be ready to put it in our jars and can it up, put it on our shelf. So we'll bring it back whenever we get it boil up to a boil and have simmered it 5 minutes. We'll bring it back and we'll show you how we're going to can it up. Okay, we got our chili con carne off of the burner over there, and we're going to put her in our jars and going to go with it now. You'll notice it's not like soup or anything. It's more of a full regular dish. It's like the regular chili dish there. Matter of fact, may have a little bit too much. I'm gonna dip a little bit of that out before I ever try to mash it down in there, because I can see that's gonna be too much there in there. If you get too much in like that, then you can always dip a little bit out. You're not bound to once you put it in there, I mean, you ain't stuck with it. You can dip some out. I just got a little bit too much in that one. Just dip some out over into your next jar like I did there if you get too much in there. Then debubble, always debubble. Remember, I've said always debubble. Check your head space after you debubble. Dip your paper towel in some vinegar. And that blue on there, that's just where that design comes through on that paper towel. Them paper towels got a design on them, and that design shows through when that paper towel gets wet. But anyway, take your lid, center it on your jar, and we're gonna go fingertip tight, and then to the counter. We're gonna move this jar over in that spot, and we're gonna get us another jar over here. I got hot water in the jars over here, keeping them hot because we got hot product, hot jars, hot counter. Now I'm hoping to get anywhere from 12 to 16 pints out of this. I'm canning this in pints here. My chili con carne, I'm doing in pints. And I'm hoping to get between 12 and 16 pints. Move that over there. Check my head space. See that we're good on head space. Take my paper towel with the vinegar in it and wipe around my ring real good, around my top of my jar. Now I've checked my jars for cracks and things in them. Make sure that they're good. Jars are good and clean. They was ran in the dishwasher. We're going to center our lid. Fingertip tight. And it's ready for the counter. And I'll show you what it looks like before I put that one in the counter. Chili con carne. And in the counter she goes. And I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of these off camera. I don't want y'all to sit here and watch me for 20 minutes. Have to watch me do the same thing over and over for 20 minutes. So I'm going to do the rest of them off camera. And then once I get all of them done, I'll bring you back and let you know, show you exactly how many we got in the counter. Okay, we got all of them in the canner now. We wound up with 12 pints, and the recipe in the book said it'd make 6 quarts, so that's right dead on the money. We got our lid on the canner. We got it centered on our burner. Now what we're going to do, we got the burner on medium high. We're going to wait until we get a good steady stream of steam coming out of the cockpit here. And this little deal here will pop up. And then we're going to start us a timer for 10 minutes. We'll let it vent for 10 minutes. And then we'll bring you back when we get to that point. Okay, we got us a good steady flow of steam here. I don't know if you can see it on camera or not, but you see our little lock here is popped up on it. And like I said, we got a good steady flow of steam there. So we're going to reach over here and we're going to set us a timer for 10 minutes. All right, when that 10 minutes is up, we'll bring you back. Okay, our 10 minutes is just about up. Our timer's fixing to go off. Just about 3 more seconds here on our timer back here. There it goes right there. And all we want to do is we're just going to take our weight here for our canner, and we're just going to drop it over our little cockpit right there. And we're going to wait now, and we'll let it build up to 12 pounds of pressure here, which is what I need to can at my altitude for. And yours may be different depending on your altitude. But whenever it gets 12 pounds of pressure, then we'll bring you back. Okay, you can see that we're on our 12 pounds here. So we're just going to turn our burner down just a little bit right now at first. And just part of the way to where our sweet spot is, and you'll figure out your sweet spot on your stove when you can enough. But you don't want to cut it all the way down at one time. Just turn it down a little bit, about, see it just touching 12. We're going to set us a timer now for 75 minutes. We're going 75 because we're canning in pints. If we was canning in quarts, we'd be doing 90. But we're doing pints, so we're doing 75. Now I want to maintain that 12 pounds pressure. Now, if it gets, 12 to 13, as long as I can stay in the 12 to 13 range, then I'm good. I want to maintain as close to 12 as possible without it dropping under 12. If it drops under 12, then I've got to go back and start that time, my timer all over again, that 75 minutes all over again. So, we're just going to maintain our pressure through the 75 minutes. Then we'll just turn the burner off. And because I cook can on a glass top stove, I'll slide it over off of that burner and take it off heat. But we won't touch anything else on it until all the pressure is down. But I'll bring you back at the end of the 75 minutes. Okay, our 75 minutes is just about up. The timer's going to be going off in just a few seconds. But you see, we're still maintaining our 12 pounds of pressure. We maintained it throughout the complete canning process here, so we're good on that aspect. And there goes the timer. So now I'm canning on a glass top stove, so all I want to do is just cut the burner off, and I'm just going to slide it, just sort of ease it up and slide it over here to this other side off of that heat. If you're canning on a gas stove, you just got to cut the burner off, and your heat stops. But on an electric stove, your heat maintains there for a while. So you want to take it off of your heat if you're canning on an electric stove like that. So I just move it over, cut the burner off, move it across. Now we're going to let it sit there. It'll drop all its pressure back down to 0, and our little lock here will fall down. And when that happens, we'll bring you back. Okay, you can see now that our gauge is all the way down to 0. Our little lock has fallen down. So now what we want to do is we're just going to take our weight off to be sure that there's not any more pressure in our canner. And then we're just going to take the top. I like to just take the top loose. Always sort of open it away from you to keep that steam hitting you in the face. And I just like to set it back about like that for just 2 to 5 minutes, just to let my jar start, getting acclimated to the difference in the temperature. And then we'll bring you back here in just a couple of minutes and we'll take them out and take a look at them. Okay, we're going to take our lid off of our counter now. We've let it set for a couple of minutes here. We're just going to take the lid on off of it. And like I said, you always want to turn that lid away from you. We're going to set it down here, and then we're going to take our jars out. I'm going to get something to put under them here, because they're going to maybe dripping there. So we're going to bring them out and set them over here on our island here. And we got this towel on top of the island, because whenever you get your jars out of a canner, they're really hot, and you don't want to just set them down on, the wood, the bare wood, or a bare countertop or anything like that. You always want to have something that you can set them down on. Let me get me something here today. Get that rack out. I had a second rack in my canner because I had got those had enough jars that I needed to use that second rack. So, and it is extremely hot. So I'm going to set it over here in the sink so I can get my jars out of the bottom here. And I hear them popping already. That's a good thing whenever they go to popping. That means they're sealing, and you've done your job right. So that means they're going to be good to go on the shelf, and we'll be able to keep them on the shelf there till we get ready to eat them. Believe me, this won't last long on the shelf, because this is some really good chili here. It's chili con carne. I've made it a couple of times before, and we all really like it. So we get them all out here. You can see there's some water on top of some of them, but that doesn't hurt anything. That water will dissipate, and when that water dissipates, then you don't have to fool them. You just always want to pick your jar straight up out of your canner there whenever you come out, because you don't want to tilt your jars and take a chance on getting something in under your lid there that may prevent it from sealing. So you always just want to pick them straight up, and like I said, that water not going to hurt a thing being on them lids. It'll all dissipate and go away. And there you have it. Chili con carne. Canned, shelf stable. You hear them popping, that means they're sealing. So that's a good job done. If you will, give the video a thumbs up, like, share, comment, subscribe to our channel. We appreciate all of you that do. Appreciate all of you that take the time out of your day to watch our videos. Chili con carne, a meal in a jar. We'll see you on the next one.